Today we're reacting to an ESPN video that dives into the NFL coaching carousel and the decisions teams are making as they look for their next head coach. The big question behind this discussion is whether these teams are thinking long-term or just reacting to short-term pressure. And that is exactly what we're going to break down here.
Judy Batista, take it away, Ian.
Let's focus in, Rich, on the Tennessee Titans head coaching search. Took a huge swing early this week, trying to lure John Harbaugh into their building, actually planning to go visit him in Baltimore before the Giants locked in and eventually finished that deal with Harbaugh. But they are set for an important week moving forward. Our understanding is that the Tennessee Titans are setting up second interviews with a couple of their big-time candidates. Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, who no doubt is a top candidate in Miami as well. And then Matt Nagy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator. Nagy's an interesting one as well, guys. A former head coach, did incredibly well. A coach of the year in Chicago with Mitch Trubisky certainly has done an excellent job coordinating the Chiefs offense. The Tennessee Titans hire could be coming this week, guys.
Speaking of a second round of interviews, Nate Scheelhaase, the Rams pass game coordinator, has advanced to that portion of the program with the Cleveland Browns. You're seeing the other requests for him on the screen. The Steelers, the Raiders, the Ravens, those are the ones that have interviewed him so far. He hasn't been an offensive coordinator at the NFL level, but he did call plays at Iowa State. He's a former quarterback, and having worked with both Matt Campbell at Iowa State and Sean McVay in the NFL level, he's got the X's and O's and the leadership boxes checked as well. So this is a guy who could skip that offensive coordinator step, go right to head coaching. He has impressed in his interviews so far. Keep an ear out for Scheelhaase over the next week.
Texans defensive coordinator Matt Burke took over play calling in week 4, and he has been masterful. They have the #1 defense in the league. They absolutely smother opponents. And now Burke, a longtime assistant coach, who's maybe been a little bit under the radar, is finally getting some notice as a potential head coach. The Arizona Cardinals have asked to interview him for their vacant job. So who is Matt Burke? Well, he played safety at Dartmouth. He's worked for 8 different NFL teams. He climbs mountains in his free time. He's done charity work in Uganda, and when you talk to folks around the Texans, they say the secret to his success is his relationships. He's comfortable talking to everybody in the building. He also, guys, happens to be from Hudson, Massachusetts, which is just about 35 miles up the road. There are a lot of people in this area with divided loyalties today, and they might have to start rooting for a new team for Matt Burke next season.
Another candidate for the Titans head coaching job is Mike McCarthy, who spent Saturday in Tennessee going through an in-person struggle to score points and is going to need to develop a young quarterback sooner than later. Also bears mentioning that if there is one coach that Aaron Rodgers might consider playing for the Steelers again for after Mike Tomlin stepped down, it would be the guy that he won that Super Bowl with in Green Bay. Now let's send it back to, is that Frank Caliendo or Charles Barkley, right?
They're inside. I don't mean just inside the information. Literally, they're inside. Gentlemen, take it away.
Yeah, and this is where I would like to stay. It's very cold outside and it's snowing, but inside it is nice and warm, and there's a lot of good feelings in Green Bay as well. See what I did there? The Green Bay Packers yesterday agreed to terms with their coach, Matt LaFleur, on a well-deserved extension. And if this sounds a little familiar, we told you a couple weeks ago that this was the Packers' plan going into the playoffs. Make sure that Matt LaFleur knew how much they appreciated him and believed him, and keeping him their coach would be their #1 priority. That happened yesterday. General Manager Brian Gutekunst likely has an extension coming as well. So the brain trust in Green Bay is not going anywhere despite a playoff loss that nobody really wanted to see. Meanwhile, the Packers are likely, guys, to replace their defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, likely to get a head coach job this cycle. So a big item on Matt LaFleur's to-do list.
A popular guy these days, former Giants head coach Brian Daboll. We told you yesterday he's going to interview with the Chargers for their offensive coordinator role. We expect that to happen with the Eagles as well sometime this week. Nothing yet set in stone. Remember, he is a head coaching candidate for the Tennessee Titans, and you start to think about the potential pairing there with Cam Ward, with what Daboll has done with some young quarterbacks in recent memory. Josh Allen being one of them up in Buffalo, Daniel Jones, Jackson Dart as well. Heck, even Tommy DeVito Dable has worked well with some of those young guys. So the pairing with Cam Ward potentially could be an interesting one as well. So expect Dable to interview with these teams already with Tennessee and maybe even more, Tom.
Meanwhile, the Giants are hiring John Harbaugh as their head coach for real this time, 3 days after Harbaugh visited the facility, and after lengthy negotiations, the side did agree Tuesday. Tomlin reiterated the same thing that he has told everybody else. He does not plan to coach in 2026. Rich?
Okay, that's the latest from the insiders on the coaching carousel. And so John Harbaugh, in the middle of our show yesterday, announced that he's the new head coach of the New York Giants, and we're taking a kickoff in New England, where the Patriots hire somebody who's been coach of the year before, okay? Pair him up with a second-year quarterback, okay? Find the right coordinator, draft nicely, have already a group of players, put it all together, and they plus 10 in the win column. And they're now hosting a divisional playoff game. Do you think they're going to have a Patriots-type leap next year with John Harbaugh and the Giants, Steve?
No.
Okay.
This guy's
shoot it down right off the bat.
This guy's a friend of mine. I love him, all right? He's a hell of a coach. But there's some differences between this situation with the Giants and what New England did. New England spent $346 million on free agents.
Okay.
They have 1.8 million salary cap, okay? They're going to have to cut some guys or restructure some guys to even start getting involved with free agency. New England hit on all of their draft choices. From Will Campbell.
I don't think it will be 4 to 14. I mean, that's a huge turnaround. The expectations, if we set them that high, probably going to fail. But you look at this team. I like the team. You got Jackson Dart, Scatteraboo coming back, Tracy. You got Neighbors coming back, given the right pieces in the coaching staff and at the offense coordinator spot. So I do believe there can be a turnaround. Going to 14 wins, I'm not ready to say that, but I do believe that they can have a quick turnaround in New York.
Well, and then the conversation that's already being had as to why it took so long, if you will, from everybody saying it's going to happen in the media to it actually happening, is he's apparently reporting to ownership like he did in Baltimore, which totally changes the way that the Giants normally do business. And then there's the other ways that Harbaugh is used to doing business with scouting and analytics and everything else. Apparently he's going to remake the way that the Giants have done their work, which may take some time as well.
There was some structure that needed to be redone over there. He'll get it done. Just give him a few years. He will be there.
Okay. Colleen Wolfe, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Rich. Well, even though Ben Johnson didn't sweep Matt LaFleur in the regular season, he still enjoyed beating him twice this year. The post-game handshake was a little icy, to say the least, but got him to the locker room quicker to yell this.
Hell yeah!
Oh, the horror. Fletcher says, Coach Ben Johnson, classless handshake. Oh, this is why Ben Johnson has become an unlikable coach this year. More and more. This is all we saw all over the time.
Sirianni catching strays.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Classless loser, Ben Johnson. A lot of classlessness here. And the day after the game, Johnson was unapologetic about it.
There's a rivalry that exists between these two teams, something that I fully recognize and I'm a part of. I don't like that team. So George and I have talked, and we're on the same page.
Matt LaFleur, obviously big in Green Bay, and Mike being on your staff, pretty close with Matt. He's played Ben Johnson 3 times this year.
Yeah. What'd you guess? No, you know what? We watch the tape, we do our work, and Matt is a very close friend of mine.
Good dog, Sean.
Perfect political answer there. So should the Bears relish being the villains of the playoffs? Ben Johnson is basically the Regina George of the league right now.
Yeah. When did we get so sensitive? Like, why do we have to consider them villains? We're in the era of you have to care about. Yeah, we have to care about everybody's feelings and all that. And this is coming from the guy who prayed at the 50-yard line, apologized to Ben Roethlisberger after I hit him, and helped O-linemen up. That's coming from this guy. This is football. It's the National Football League. Everybody's hurt because they are actually walking the talk. They're saying what they're going to do. They're doing it and not apologizing for it. We're so upset about him them saying F the Packers, that's an organization. Nobody said nothing to Myles Garrett about having actual names on a graveyard.
Yep.
That wasn't disrespectful. These are actual people. He put them in a graveyard, and we praised that. But they said F an organization, and we're upset. Man, get over it. They are walking the talk, and I love it.
Yes.
Keep it going.
Ben Johnson is in his villain era right now, but where were you when Kyle Brandt last year came up with this comprehensive list of what the Bears need in their next head coach? Offense, catch the big fish for once.
Ding.
Not a nice guy.
Ding.
Offense, please.
Ding.
And Ben Johnson.
Ding. I've been right about a million things, and I was spot on about that one, and I say it with my chest now, and I back it up. Each of the last several years, I get to represent this network, and I get to go to Chicago and interview the franchise quarterback. After I do that, I go and I meet the head coach. Either I'm invited or I ask, and they welcome you right in. And I've sat with Matt Nagy, wonderful guy, and I've sat with Matt Eberflus, wonderful guy. Those guys are all gone, and the quarterbacks they were coaching are all gone. A few weeks ago, I go to interview Caleb. There's no invite from the head coach. I say, is there any way I can meet the head coach? Unfortunately, no. And I love that. You know why? Because that head coach was getting ready to play the Packers. I saw one of those tweets about Ben Johnson that said, classless loser. You're half right. He's not a loser. He's hosting a playoff game in his home stadium tonight in his first season. The Bears have had so many Walter Whites. Now they have a Heisenberg, and he's putting on that hat, and you don't like it. And you know what he's really saying to Matt LaFleur and what he's saying to all the Packers fans? He's saying, say.
After watching the ESPN debate, it's clear that the NFL coaching carousel is about much more than just hiring the best name available. Teams are under pressure to win immediately, but that urgency doesn't always lead to the right decision. Franchises like the Titans seem to be aiming for long-term development and cultural stability, while others still feel reactive, driven more by public pressure than by a clear organizational plan. What really stands out is how personality and narrative now carry as much weight as resumes. Coaches with strong identities quickly become polarizing figures, and that perception often forms before results ever show up on the field. In the end, the NFL is in a transition period. Teams that understand leadership goes beyond the playbook will move ahead, while those that don't risk repeating the same cycle all over again.